Hello, hello, hello. We are live. We are live. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of the BOSS Brunch podcast. Today we have a new series because, as you guys know, we do have the BOSS Brunch 2021 live just around the corner, June 10th and 11th. And I have two of the amazing speakers here today that I cannot wait to just share with you. They're just amazing at all the things. So get ready for that. All right, guys, let's get into it. I'm telling you guys, every time I hear my intro, I just get excited. It gives me a little bounce. So today we have two of the speakers of the 16 people that will be speaking at the BOSS Brunch. Today we have I'm going to say it. She's one of my favorites. I love her to death. Actually, two of my favorites that are here. So we have Shanna Olson and we have Olga Fomenko. I am so excited. So I'm going to bring up Shanna first. Shanna, you guys know we have been in the pandemic. We've been in a pandemic, and Shanna has two restaurants. So every time I say that, they're like, "Oh man, I know she went through some stuff. I know it had to have been rough." And then I'm like, "No, she was probably did better than she did last year." And they're like, "How? How could she do this?" And literally, it's her amazingness. She's a business whisperer. She just is able to do all these things and create this alignment with her brand and her team. And she's amazing. So I'm going to bring her in first. Shut up. No, I'm super excited to have you here. It's amazing. And then we have Olga. Olga is a rock star in her own respect. She is all about systems, really outsourcing, really getting strategic with yourself. She's worked with billion-dollar companies, just helping them create alignment with their brand. She's amazing. She's a rock star. I love all things about Olga. She's my fave. Olga.
Hey guys.
So I'm super, super excited about today because I get to hang out with my girls. We only have one guy. We have Vince. Vince is our token guy this year. So it's definitely a all-girls show at the BOSS Brunch this year. And I'm super excited that you guys got to hang out with me today. So maybe introduce yourself, kind of talk about a little bit more about you as I was kind of talking, and just let the audience know all the greatness. So we'll start with you, Shanna.
Okay, well, my name is Shanna Olson, and thank you, Carrie, for the lovely introduction. That was very sweet. I live in Canada, and I own two restaurants, and this pandemic, when everything hit last year, was pretty hard, but we learned to pivot and just use the tools and resources that I have built over the years with my teams. And I've got about 150 staff. I have quite large restaurants in the areas I'm in, and we have lots of fun. And we've managed to still stay alive and actually thrive in this environment, even in an industry that's kind of hard dealing with what is going on in the world. So I'm super excited to be here and share some of the things that I have done over my years. And yeah, thanks for having me here, Carrie.
Whoop, whoop. Super exciting. Super exciting. Olga, share your gifts with the world.
Hello, ladies, and anybody that will be watching this, joining on this live. Thank you so much for having me here. I am in a virtual world as opposed to Shanna for the last 10 years, although prior to that, I was in hospitality for 10 years, and I did manage restaurants. I didn't own any, but I ran restaurants for other people. And now I help business owners with their virtual businesses, and I help them run virtual teams and virtual operations, virtual lunches, and things of that kind. To have a virtual assistance agency, and just like Carrie said, we're very heavily systems oriented, and we're all about helping our clients getting their time back and focusing on their CEO work so their company can grow their bottom line and the happiness of their entire team and their entire family.
Oh, so good. So good. Okay. So, first of all, I want to thank you guys again for saying yes to being a speaker on the Boss Brunch. Like, that literally meant the world to me, because this has been something that's been super close to me. Like, the idea of, like, one, creating a community where women can come together, but then also creating a community where people can, like, get realigned with, like, what they're doing in their mission. So, like, for me, that is what I'm most excited about. So I just want to thank both of you guys for saying yes to, like, helping my mission thrive and go forth. So the thing this year is all about, like, staying in your zone of genius, like staying in your lane. And I think, I know for you, Shanna, and even for you, Olga, you guys had to kind of create a lane for yourselves, and you had to kind of stand fast in it. And I kind of want to maybe get, like, some ideas of, like, what was that like for you guys to kind of, like, create these shifts and these flows to, like, hone in on your zone of genius. We'll go with you, Olga.
Well, it's interesting that you're talking about zone of genius, because for people that have those, it's very hard sometimes to identify what they're best at, because especially in the entrepreneurship world, we're forced to wear multiple hats, and we're forced to learn so many different skills, and sometimes even to get really good at so many different skills. So that's why I have clients still. I never run out of clients because it's so hard for entrepreneurs to let things go, and that basically makes them a bottleneck in their business and slows down the growth. So my zone of genius is definitely in helping entrepreneurs identifying those things, helping them to find the things that they love doing, focus on those, and delegate the rest.
Yeah, no, I really love that, because I feel like that's kind of what this thing is about. Is I feel like as entrepreneurs, sometimes we feel like we have to do all the things, and it's like you're, and even with you, Shanna, it's kind of like, no, like, you don't need to do all things. You need to do the one thing that you're really amazing at, that's actually going to move the needle forward, and then delegate everything else out. So, like, I feel like you guys are the perfect start of this event, because it's like y'all are both in alignment with that. Yay! What about you, Shanna?
Well, I would say that, the last year, I've kind of been able to understand what some of my zones of genius are. One of them, I would say, would be to cultivate an amazing culture and teams in my businesses, because, as everybody knows, restaurants are very difficult to maintain staff, and there's high turnover. But I've been able to keep a lot of long-term staff and have a lot of consistency in my restaurants because of how I deal with the people, how I deal with my staff, how I treat them, what I invest back into them. And when the pandemic hit, it was very apparent that this was an area I had been really successful at in comparison to some of my other colleagues, because I had a plethora of people who wanted to stay working. I didn't have staff who wanted to just sit at home and, collect government assistance. They were like, how can I help? What can we do to support the business? How can we help you throughout all of this? It really did show me in a clear way that, wow, I've really built a great culture. When the hardest thing happens in your business and your team builds up around you, you know that you've done something really unique with that. When you hear your other colleagues crying for help because their employees won't come back to work, or they won't support them, or they're left alone in this crisis. So I really, that's one area that, like, I have learned really well, is to be able to delegate and empower my team, which is a win-win. They feel empowered. They love the culture. I get some more time freedom. My business is more successful. It's just it's a very unique thing that I've learned in an industry that's very hard to keep staff,
I'm sorry, I muted myself. But well, I feel like with both of the things that we're talking about, is like this delegation in this piece. I feel like a lot of it has to do with, like, first us as entrepreneurs making mindset shifts to be able to feel like it's okay to delegate. Because I know for me it was hard, because I was like, I'm like really good at all these things, like I should be able to do all these things, and I had to like shift my brain and be like, you know what, like I can do all these things, but is it really going to be beneficial for me, or is there somebody that probably can do it better? So like what would you say, like the mindset shifts that you have to make to be able to kind of put yourself in this place of where you're starting to create this, not feeling like you have to do all the things?
Well, for me, it was like, what did I start a business for? Did I start something so I had endless work 24 hours a day because I could do all the tasks? Or did I create a business to create something for others and for a community and to give other people jobs and to give the economy something more? You know, I didn't create a business just to work from morning till night. I wanted to create something bigger, and you can never create anything alone. You have to have other people to help you do that. You know, you build something bigger with a team. So it's like, you have to realize that it's okay to let go of some of those tasks, and it will actually help propel everybody. And you're not hurting somebody by giving them a task to delegate. You're actually giving them a purpose and something to strive for. So it's a win-win. So I look at it that way, not in that like, oh, I just want to get rid of my tasks. It's like, okay, how can I actually empower this other person, give them autonomy, give them things to do, let them do it, and understand that they're not going to do it exactly the same way as me, but that's okay. In business, you have that little buffer of, you know, if they're doing it 80% of what you would do, amazing. They're not invested the same way you are, but that's good enough. Like that still drives you forward. That's better than you trying to do it all yourself, you know?
No, I love that. I love like just shifting the way you look at, like you looking at it. So like just reframing your statements actually is like probably the easiest mindset shift to make, is reframing your statements instead of being like, oh, I'm giving my testimony. Like, no, actually, like I'm empowering other people and creating a better. That's beautiful. What about you, Olga?
You know, Shanna said everything just, you know,
She's
that's
great.
the way possible. Yeah, for sure. I love the thought that Shanna just shared here, and it kind of took me away from what I originally thought and got me on a different path of thinking about, you know, because I work with the outsources from overseas a lot. I actually have been kind of in between of the worlds where, you know, what you're saying, Shanna, creating opportunities for the community versus, you know, am I helping the economy here in the United States, or am I taking the job someplace else? And what I have realized in the last year, that by me being able to support other business owners with the way less expensive workforce, we were able to save so many businesses that otherwise would just not be able to afford it at all, while they were waiting for their EIDLs and PPPs, not knowing how they're going to pay the bills and how they're going to survive. So those few months when they couldn't help their workers and the workers were out of jobs, like that's when, you know, I came up with this thought that outsourcing is probably the most American thing you can do, because the minute your business is stable and has grown, you can hire local people and you can give back and provide value back to your community and to your country. So thank you so much for touching on that. That was, you know, just very dear to my heart.
Yeah, no, it's funny. Oh, go ahead, Shanna.
You're still contributing to the world economy, right? Like at the end of the day, we still are all connected, whether it's one little community or the world. You're giving opportunities to people that need the work as well, right? And like those businesses, like you said, they wouldn't have survived if you wouldn't have been able to outsource that. So I think it's great. I think, you know, we're all on the same planet at the end of the day.
No, I love that. I love that. Okay, all right. So BOSS Brunch 2021 is like, I think 15 days away. It's probably like, I think it's like less than that, but it's like 15 days away. Like, what are some sneak peeks that our people can maybe start thinking about when and excited to like hear, like I know I'm super excited to hear Shanna and Olga. Like I think I'm more excited. I'm probably gonna be there, like, even though I'm supposed to be doing us, I'm gonna be like, what did they say? What are they saying? What genius are they like spreading out into the world? So like what's the sneak piece of what you're thinking that you're gonna talk about, Shanna?
Well, I think to begin with, I'm going to talk about, there's some formulas that I've created that have really helped impact the way my team does business and the way that I do business. Just around money and time is really the first big ones. Most entrepreneurs get into business and they do a bunch of sales and they're like, yeah, I have a business. And then they're like, wait a second, there's no money at the end of the month, or I have no time at the end of the month. How do I really do this? So there's some things that I've figured out in my businesses over the years and with my teams by coaching them and training them that are ways to be more efficient, ways to manage your finances better within your business. And it's just, they're simple things, but they're not that easy because it does take mindset shifts. It does take looking at it in a new perspective. And just, I think sharing that with people and getting them to think a different way a little bit will help open that up. So I'm going to share some of those things and hopefully they help somebody.
Oh, that's exciting. Formulas, guys, formulas. It sounds fancy. I'm excited. What about you, Olga?
I will be sharing one of my favorite concepts that actually goes like that. Your net worth equals your network. And if you're not making enough money in your business, that means you just don't know the people who will help you to make enough money. So we'll be talking about authority building on a budget, and how can an entrepreneur can create an amazing network with other industry leaders and be of value to multiple different communities while still staying at a very reasonable budget and while still staying kind of low. That's something that I have I am dealing a lot with the people that don't really want to be public everywhere per se, but they do need to tap into other networks. So I'll be sharing one very, very cool strategy on authority building and lead generation.
No, that's really exciting. Like, I think both of you guys are really exciting because I think like somebody could take like your formula, Shanna, and that could be their strategy, and that would be enough. Because I think what happens, and this is kind of really what I'm hoping will happen from this event, is that people will realize that sometimes you don't have to do all the things. You just have to be able to do one thing really amazing and just double down on it. And I feel like right now, and especially for me, and this is kind of why I was like, I feel like this brunch is super in alignment to kind of where I was like a couple months ago. It's like I felt like I had to do all of these things. And then I was noticing, I was like, I feel like I'm doing all these things when nothing's like actually amazing. It's just like a little over here, a little over there. So I was like, I'm just going to double down on the stuff that like truly is in alignment with my heart and my mission. And that's what I'll focus on. And then our business blossomed because people saw the fact of like the time and the actual care that I was taking, just doing that one thing rather than like feeling like I need to do reels and like do TikToks and do some emails here and then do stuff over here and then like do all the things that everybody tells you need to do. And sometimes you don't. Like you just need to like pick that one thing and just double down on it. And that's the goal that I'm hoping that people will get, because the same thing like with what Olga said about like this authority, maybe that's the strategy that somebody takes away and they say, hey, this is the one thing that I'm going to do and this is going to be my strategy. I'm just going to double down on it. And I'm just like, that's what I'll do. And that's how I'll grow my business, by building relationships. I love it. I'm so excited. I feel like it's all coming together. It's just like creating like a joining.
Yeah, it's so neat because like in business, entrepreneurs come in because they're really talented in many ways, right? And they do try to do everything, and then they just get so spread thin and they get lost in the mess of it. Even me in my younger years, I would do that. And while I'm trying to develop things, but it's focusing on that thing that's going to push you forward more, right? And like being okay with that and just saying, okay, we're just going to do this and move forward with that. And then after that gets solidified, then we can move on, and being okay with somebody else doing those other things. And they might not be perfect, but they're going to get done at least, rather than only doing 10% of 10 things. You're going to do, one thing at 90%, and then somebody else is going to do a few other things at a little lesser percentage. So you're totally right, Carrie.
No, I'm super excited. Okay, guys. Okay, so let me see. Let me think. I think I'm a little too excited right now about like having both of you guys here, that I'm just like, I just want to hang out with my peoples.
Okay. Let me quickly piggyback what Shanna
Piggy.
It's like my thoughts are going in so many different directions as all of these cool ideas come up. And I just wanted to piggyback on the idea of how building something does take a team. And in school, we're conditioned to believe that we have to do everything alone, right? Like, you don't steal somebody else's homework, you don't peek into somebody else's notes, you don't listen to what somebody else's whispers. Like, if you're on your own to get your good grade. Well, in real life, turns out that without surrounding yourself with the right people, you can't get anywhere, be that your team or your peers or your mentors or your extended network. You always have to be building that support system around yourself. And the sooner you understand that there are multiple levels of those support systems, the faster you're going to start growing, because every single of those support systems is super important, right? Like, building your team may not be the first thing that people think when they're just starting out, because their budget may not still be there. So they may be going to coaches and mentors and learning things on how to do yourself. So it is important to have its own place, and it is important to have peers in your network that will help you sometimes, maybe for a barter or just because they like you, to just push through certain moments. But there will come time when you will have to step out of your comfort zones, and you will have to start delegating things and start trusting other people with your baby. And it's going to be very uncomfortable for many people. So I'm super excited to be listening to what Shonda has to share, especially because I've been in the restaurant world and I know how tough it is to even maintain a restaurant, period. Never mind having successful business and opening up a second venue. So super excited to be in this company. Okay, I'm gonna stop now.
It's funny because while you were talking, I was like, I'm like going through every speaker that we have, and I'm like, I feel like every speaker has somebody that, or has a somewhat of a team where they're delegating to stuff too. And I know, like, with me and Shanna, like, I'm helping Shanna with her legacy business because she's just so great, and she's just like now like about to share her gifts with the world. But it's like, that's what we're doing. And it's like, even with you, Olga, like, you have a team, and I'm like going through everybody I'm like, everybody has somebody, or they're in a partnership with somebody to create that, to be able to delegate those tasks to, where they're not feeling like they have to do all the things. And I think that there really says something, because everybody who's speaking, they have successful businesses, they have traction in their business. So it says something there that everybody has people that they're using to delegate to, or to like be the partners with, or to be able to like give stuff away and like and spread out so they can stay in their zone. So I think that's something that I didn't even think about. That I think that's something that's really powerful to think about, is maybe that's probably a big key that I think a lot of people are scared of, because they're like, oh, I built this by myself. And I'll see it, I'm like, why though? Like, why build it yourself when you could do it so much easier and quicker if you just hire somebody to help you?
Yeah, having the team behind you is really important. Like I think that if you want to just like do it yourself, you're going to not go very far, and it's kind of more ego driven, right? Whereas if you really want to give back to the world and you really want to create something, you bring others along with you, teach them, and like bring them with you. Just, I think the thing that people struggle with is getting those right people. And I know even myself, being a woman in business, and I was the first female in my franchise organization for the restaurants, you get a lot of people that want to be on your team, but are really doing that because they don't think you can do it. And it's a really weird feeling. So you have to pick the people that you know are actually supporting you, the people that are your champions, that maybe don't want to be the leader, but they want to be near a leader that's going to help them grow and help them learn and do all those things. So it's picking the right people to support you and understanding that, skills and the actual tasks aren't always the thing you look for. You're looking for people that, like I said, are your champion or the person that believes in you and wants to support you, not, oh, they know how to do X, Y, or Z, but they don't really care about my mission or business, right? Like, you want business an extension of yourself. So you want people who believe in you, not who are going to undermine you. That's where people get in trouble when hiring and delegating. They get people who don't care about what's happening, aren't aligned with their vision or mission, and then it falls apart and they have struggles, right? I right from the get-go hired certain people, maybe didn't have the talents that I wanted skill set wise, but they had the personality and they had the fundamental things that I was looking for that aligned with me and my values. So that really makes a difference when you're building and growing. And getting that support, because it's scary to hire people. You're giving them a piece of your business. You're giving them a piece of
that's powerful.
Your baby, right? And so instead of hiring the like genius, I've had contractors, because I had to build my restaurant. So I had contractors that, they were the best, yada, yada, yada. But then they treated me with such disregard and didn't really align with the fact that I was a woman doing this. So I had to align with people who believed in me and who weren't threatened by that I was a woman coming into a man's world, right? I had to align those values to make my dreams come true. So
I think that's super powerful. Olga, do you have something before I go in? Because I feel like you have something. Bring it in, girl.
No, I can feel you. I can feel you.
Yeah, because it's like, I think it's super powerful, because I think that even with me, like, so my first hire was Jean, and I remember when I hired Jean, and then even like fast forward when I hired Amber, who's my integrator, like I remember like I hired them because they were aligned with my values, and like there was some things that I knew that they weren't sure and they didn't understand, but I felt like they had the potential to be able for me to teach them and train them and kind of mold them into like the person that I knew that they could be.
Yeah.
And then now they're rock stars. And I think a lot of times, like, especially as entrepreneurs, and I see it happen all the time, is they're like, well, I'm looking for somebody who can do this, and this. And I'll see the Facebook post that will pop up. I'm looking for somebody who can do all these things. And I'm like, and I'll see all these people like, oh, I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. And I'm like these people are just going to choose somebody. They're not even going to go through the list of the person who might be like, that might be their person, because they're looking for the person who fits all of this requirement. That's powerful.
Yeah. Well, hiring one of my passions. We hire a lot and headhunt a lot. So we have the almost 100 resumes to go through each month, and it can get really, really overwhelming if you don't put those values as a priority, because that allows us to filter out most of the candidates that come through our funnel and really stick to only those that will be a good fit for us and for our clients.
That's super powerful. See, Shanna, you just like, you drop the gems and the knowledge, and it's just like sprinkles in, and you're just like, How do you do the things? Okay, so now that we're on this employee team thing, I want you to talk about like your the like how you create like this community and like this work culture among your management team. And of course, I'm talking about your outings, because I think it's the coolest thing ever that you do that, and it's like something that you continuously do, and it's so different that I think a lot of people even think about.
Yeah, so I have, between my two restaurants, I have about 10 or 11 full-time salaried managers, and then I have some other shift leaders that fill in because restaurants are open a long time. So let's just say I have about 15 or 20 people that are really managing my business all hours and deal with the higher level things. So what I do on a regular basis, and this is pre-pandemic, is I take them and do things with them outside of work a lot, right? I like to give back to the communities I'm in. So I will buy a table at a charity gala, and I'll take the team there. I will take them to a leadership event. Like we went there, Tony Robbins spoke and a bunch of speakers spoke, and I took a group of them there to do that. We did Landmark Forum, a bunch of us together. We went away to Mexico for our Christmas celebration. Instead of like giving them gifts, instead of doing all these things, I'll take them for a really nice meal where they'd never go to naturally on their own, and have conversation and pre-plan, hey, we're going to talk about these things in life, and I'm going to find out more about them, and we're going to have a good time and a memory. So I do events with them usually every couple months to stay engaged with them. They're people that are impacting my life because they're helping me with my business. I enjoy them as human beings. I want to invest in them, whether they stay with me for a month or a year or whatever the amount of time frame, or 10 years. This is me giving back to them through things like, charities and giving back to the community, or just teaching them and helping them grow so that one day, 10 years down the road or 20 years down the road, they'll come back and be like, oh, that boss was great. Like she helped me grow this X, Y, or Z. That's kind of the impact I'm looking for on them, because I want to change people's lives that way. I want to make them learn something and grow and, be happier people. So these are all little things that I learned growing up, and had luckily some really great bosses do some of these things. And I've just kind of integrated them all together. So it's that memory piece. It's that helping them grow, exposing them to things they wouldn't naturally be exposed to, and trying to enrich their lives beyond just work, right? I'm giving them a job, I'm providing them that, but I want to enrich their lives. I want to help them be whoever they want to be,
No, I love that. Isn't that amazing? Like when she told me that, I was like, because it's funny because I saw the pictures first and I was like, oh, Shanna's like, hanging out with her friends. And then she was like, no, this is my team. I'm like, this is a really nice restaurant. You're like, yeah, we're just taking them out, doing an overnight thing. I'm like, that is so cool. And this is me. I'm like, Amber, we need to figure out what we're going to do with the team, because like Shanna do all I was like, we're going to do something. I was like, I wanted to do origami lessons. They shot me down. So we're figuring out something else. I thought origami would be a great idea. They were like, no, Carrie, we're not doing origami.
I'll tell you though, Carrie, sometimes I will say that a lot of times I won't per se ask my team if they want to do this, because I'll take them out and I'll still pay them for the day, and then I take them out and do something, because it is a work event. I'm expecting them to do something that's out of their comfort zone sometimes. Like we're going to do something in June that's at the University of British Columbia that's called a ropes course, and we're going to do different cool things there. And I'm not really asking them if they want to or not. It's like, hey, let's go as a team and do some team building, and let's go experience something different. And then we go out for a nice meal afterwards, and then everybody gets to participate as much as they want or not. And it's just that memory, right? So origami, just book it and say, hey guys,
oh yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm about to book origami. Amber, if you're seeing this, we're doing origami.
It's a great day and it's fun. I've had people like we've done different leadership events where I have them do different exercises that I've learned over the years. And some of them are like, oh, I don't want to do this. And then they do it and they realize, oh, that was kind of fun, you know? And it's just like, you have to get them out of their zone. You have to be the leader and kind of push them, be like, this is going to be okay. We're not doing something, you know, scary or, you know, crazy. We're just doing something a little bit different to help us all.
Origami.
It's just origami. That's not a big deal.
No, I love it. I love it. No, this is so good. Oh, so good. Okay, Olga, what, like, so when you, like, what would you say is, like, now we're on, like, this team building thing, like, what would you say is the mistake, like, what would you say is some of the big mistakes that people make when it comes to, like, building these teams to start this delegation where they can start staying in their zone of genius?
You know, it's actually going to, I'm going to grab one of the things that Shanna said because I thought it was very powerful that she said that, that I don't care if they stay with me for a month or a year or for a long time, I'm still going to invest in them. So I think this is the number one mistake that most entrepreneurs make. They want to hold on to falling in love with their team because they're scared to be burned. They're scared that the team members are going to leave them. They're scared to pay them too much and invest in them too much. So I see this a lot, and I know it comes from the space of experience, right, of the general traditional workspace and corporate workspace, and our experiences with quite poor company culture. So not building company culture is probably that one of the biggest mistakes that a business owner can make. And that's why Shanna is such a great example of how you could do it in the local business, right? Probably for a virtual business, it may be a little bit more challenging, but we're also trying to do things for our team members. Like we're trying to send them to trainings and sign them up for coaching programs and get them massage and a little gift card for, you know, different things. So appreciation goes a long way, but rebuilding trust and like hiring correctly, first of all, and rebuilding trust in yourself and investing in people. I think this is a great company value to have.
Oh, I completely agree. I completely agree. I'm very lucky that I did my hiring because I did my strengths and weakness test, and I realized that the stuff that I needed to keep the business going was the stuff that I was weak at. So I was like, if I want to do this, I'm gonna have to hire somebody ASAP. So that's when I hired Jean, and I remember because I was still growing as an entrepreneur, and like because I was still new. I think I hired her like a month into like being in business, so she like saw all the like the craziness of me like wanting to do all the things. But it was really clear of like I remember when we were start hiring other people, I was like, you know, Jean, like one, I want to make sure that we hire deep, but then I also want to make sure there are people that are going to be alignment with like what we're trying to create. So like everybody that we hired, it always felt like they just were able to like to come into the community. There was never any ruffles. It was just like they were meant to be there. Like everybody always just comes in like they were just meant to be there, and it's like they found their home and things like that. And I did my manifesto because I'm in a coaching program now. I did my manifesto and I shared it with my team, and they were just like, "Oh my gosh, this is exactly what I thought it would be. This is amazing." But they were like, "We're so excited to be on this journey." Like they were so excited, and I was just like, I should have did a manifesto a long time ago. But it was like they were so excited because they were like, this is what we were thinking we were going towards. But the idea of like actually putting it on paper for them to actually really be able to see the vision of like what we're trying to create, and the fact that they all were in alignment with the goals and the missions and this vision of like what I was trying to create was like, it was like, I was like almost in tears. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe it. Like, because I was like, I'm so lucky because I have quite a big team. Like, I think we have like 15 now because we just hired a copywriter. I'm so excited. We just hired a copywriter, and like, so we have a team of 15. And it's like, that's a lot to juggle. Like, that's a lot of people to juggle around and figure out things. But the fact that like everybody just works so seamlessly together, and it's like, I feel like our clients feel like the connection of the teams, like the love, and like, even it's funny because this is what I always say. I was like, this is just not my team. Like, this is your team. Like, this is extension of like, when you work with us, like, you have a whole people behind you that are believing in your message and your mission, and we're gonna stay super aligned with your goals and keep have your back. We're gonna be your cheerleader, and we're gonna like pick you up and be like, okay, girl, we're gonna go to the finish line together, because like that's how we feel. And I think that mission is that those missions, those values, luckily the team was able to catch on to it early, and then that we're continuously adding those pieces. But I'm definitely adding some culture and client culture, some activities. Origami is coming.
I think too, it's great that people align, and it doesn't always work out that way. But I think that people still, entrepreneurs, they get, like what you said, Olga, is it's hard to pick those people and then be upset and not keep them, right? A lot of people are like, I don't want to invest because what if they leave? And a bunch of entrepreneurs take that personal. And it's like, you can't take it personal. Like, if they don't align with you, then please, like, leave happily. Like, I always say that if someone's not happy in my workplace, like, please leave. Like, I'm no offense, no anything. It's just like, I want you to move on, and I want you to find something great in your life. Because the truth is, guys, we spend so much time working in our lives. Why would you want your fellow human to be so miserable working for you because you need them to do that task? No, if they're that miserable, they should move on and find something that aligns with them. And you can find somebody else that'll actually fit that role. So it's, when I was younger in my 20s, I had a lot of people come through my organizations, and I'd be upset when someone would leave that I really liked or something. I had to get over that. And the restaurant industry was a good industry for me to learn that, because
because it's like, where'd they go? You go back from vacation, they'll come back, you're gone.
It was always serendipitous that if somebody left, there was always somebody else that came that fit better. So you have to learn to just let go of the ones that don't fit and aren't happy, and wish them well onto whatever path that's going to align with them, and let the people that align with you come in, because that'll serve you better. So it's like, if they don't like it, like, it's okay, let them go. Like, I happily, people want to quit, I don't cry about it. It's like, okay, great, you've moved on. I hope I helped you. It's all good.
Wish you well in all your new endeavors.
Exactly.
No, I love that. I love that. Guys, this has been amazing. Please make sure you go to bossbrunch.live to register for the Boss Brunch so you can hear these two amazing women speak. Like, this is just a snippet of the stuff that they're talking about. Like, they're powerful. They're powerful in their own respect. And together, this collective environment of like these 16 speakers, all at the same level of like this high level thinking and this high level process, is going to be amazing. I'm so excited. Any last words, Shanna and Olga?
Well, sure. I'll jump in and I'll say very good talk. Always glad to connect with other entrepreneurs. Shanna, super nice meeting you. Blown away by the things that I'm hearing from you. And Carrie, I know how it's not a coincidence that you have this name, like Carrie. Like, it speaks for itself, right? Like, I know that you carry so much for everything that you do, and for everybody that you work with and alongside with, and all of the in between. So I'm super excited for those people that will get to be touched with this event, and that will get to learn from those amazing speakers that you're bringing together. I know there is a lot of amazing, a lot of gold going to be going on there. Super excited to learn myself as much as possible. And again, thank you so much. And let's do this.
Yeah.
It was really lovely to meet you too, Olga. I'm excited to hear you speak, and thank you, Carrie, for having us on here and giving us the opportunity to talk and share what we know. You know, like I've been sharing what I know in my little bubbles of my business for so long, and it's just now new for me to get out in the world and share the things I find, you know, normal in my life, and hopefully help others, because that's a fulfilling thing to do, is to share what you know and hope someone gets some golden nuggets out of it. And yeah, we have a lot of fun along the way.
No, the world is waiting. They're now like, oh, she's coming. Oh, it's gonna be, yeah. No, for me, I'm happy that, one, that you're creating this legacy business to be able to share these gifts, because there's so many people that need it, and your thinking and the processes that you have is just so powerful that, like, it's gonna change the world.
Well, thank you for being part of this journey with all of us. So, and for creating the BOSS Brunch and helping us share our messages.
No, you guys are amazing. Well, guys, make sure to register for the Boss Brunch at bossbrunch.live. Bossbrunch.live is going to be June 10th and 11th. It's going to be is virtual. So please, please, please make sure you register. We're going to get realigned with your purpose, your business, and your offers. I will see you guys later.
Bye.